Welcome, gamers and dice rollers of all kinds. My name is Paul. Welcome to Character Driven. I'll be your GM for a little while, and I'm excited about this episode because I've dove deep into this. This is probably one of my favorite new classes from the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, and I'm excited to share the character that I rolled up for this, and it will evolve as we go along. If you're new to the channel, thanks for jumping in here. Would love for you to be part of the community, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button before you leave and join us in the conversation. So let's jump in to the Golgari Swarm. And according to the book, it says on page 51, it says the original mandate of the Golgari Swarm under the leadership of Svagthur, its Devkaran founder, was to maintain Ravnica's agriculture and manage its waste. But Svagthur's interest in necromancy and his eventual transformation into a lich shaped the course of the guild's activities and gave birth to its philosophy of embracing death as part of nature's cycle. So this is the Golgari Swarm, and it operates really like a group of ants, if you will. They have these beautiful underground cities, which reminds me a little bit of Underdark, kind of a greener version of the Underdark. Just the kind of the way it's laid out and the fact that there are dark elves and things like that that are involved there. But I like the vibe of the underground cities that are just, partly, live, partly dead. The Devkaran elves, the Medusas and the Crawl are the three main factions of the Golgari Swarm, and the Devkaran elves, they're the dark elves, the Medusas, which is also called, they call them the Gorgons, and the Crawl, which is basically like these insectoid, kind of trollish kind of creatures. And the Golgari pay special attention to life and death, to growth and decay. They are about keeping the balance of things. So I really enjoy that aspect of things because, if it's alive, it might have to die, and if it's dead, it may come back to life. I also like the fact that they have this little segment called the Okron Assassins, or the Okron Assassins, and they're want to really kind of draw them out. I think they're going to be a fun little group to be a part of. And then they, like I said earlier, they operate like insects. There's this kind of hive mind, this kind of like this message where the earth kind of sends a this message to everything, that it's supposed to be growing or supposed to be in this place or that place, and everybody kind of knows their role and their aspect in those things. So let's go ahead and jump into my character, which I have named Thorn. And Thorn is a druid, part of the Circle of Spores, which is a really, really cool class. Lots of cool little aspects in there of what you can do with spores, and what those spores can do. It can give off necrotic energy, and if you've even come into my space at some level, it's going to cause damage to you. So that's lots of cool things with that. I'm a Devkaran dark elf. I'm straight up neutral, and I have a little oak shield with thorns in them, and so I think that's just going to play a part. I don't know what I'm going to do with that shield yet, but I think I have some ideas, maybe where he got it from, or maybe he made it himself to be a very special kind of thing, and maybe he'll carve the names of his of his enemies in there or something like that. That'd be kind of fun to do. Some other things that you might need to know about him would be that his traits is, I like to remind people of their impending death. I'm going to come up with some quotes for that, some great death quotes that just will get under people's skin, that he's always quoting these quotes about death. Maybe I'll make them up, maybe. He believes in nature over cities, does not like cities at all, not a big fan, does not like all that population and so forth. He likes it to go back to the way it was. He has a bond with this thing that I'm calling the greenhouse, and that is the place where you can't really join the Golgari as much as you're not indoctrinated or things like that. You actually have to kind of give yourself over to it. You have to be kind of absorbed into it, and they had a place down in the under the city there called the greenhouse, where you had to go in there and be basically strapped down. And in my vision, the way you got in was that you basically they kind of did this either a spell or did something where all the vines and insects kind of cover all over you, and they just, I mean, vines are crawling up your nose, and it's just all up in you, and it is transferring power basically of the earth, and so he's got a very much a connection to those things, and I kind of like that. It was a traumatic experience for him, so I guess that's why he's remembered it so much. And lastly, he's a bit cold. I'm a little fearful as to if I play this character that if somebody in the party dies, that I'm going to be kind of a jerk face about it, because like, well, he's gone back to the earth. And no big deal. It's just part of the cycle of life, and he's kind of indifferent that way. So I'm kind of anxious to see what he looks like when people around him are just dying, and I think he's just going to be cold. I think he's just going to be nonchalant, and he's just going to say, well, that's just the way it goes. Let's not cry over spilled blood and decaying flesh. Let's just kind of move on from it. And that's it, guys. That's a little bit about the Golgari Swarm and the character known as Thorn. Which is, I'm excited to play that, and I'm excited to get up to a little upper levels so I can enjoy some of this spore action that's going on there. But of course, I love your feedback. If you, in fact, have created a Golgari Swarm character, man, tell me about him. I'd love to know about him. If you have suggestions about my character, please leave those in the comments. Maybe what he can do with his oaken shield, or maybe some of the things that go on with his connection to the greenhouse. Maybe he operates in flashback, something like that would be fun. But of course, I would like your input. That's what this channel's about. It's about you connecting here and giving your input about what you're excited about in gaming. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks for letting me be your GM for a little while, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. We'll talk to you later.